Welcome to part 2 of the semifinals of Champion of the Cheap. Today we have 4 games that beat out some of the worst cheap eShop games advancing into these semifinals, and those 4 games are going to be Grab Lab, Not Not, Jumping Joe, and Ding Dong XL. One of these games can move on to the finals where we'll battle against Membrane, so let's go ahead and get started. Our first game this week is Grab Lab for the little mad scientist in all of us. This is a pretty cutesy game, and honestly it's quite fun as well. It's relaxing, forgiving, and overall it's very creative. You play as this little scientist and you journey around in one direction, around the edges of the level, and you use your bionic arm to jolt yourself from one side of the level all the way to the other to collect all of the test tubes. You collect them all and you advance to the next level. There are tons of levels and each one adds just enough obstacles to keep you engaged. It'd be nice to have a few more bionic upgrades here and there as you went along to mix the gameplay up a bit, but as it stands, it's a fun cheap game and is definitely worth the money. Our second game is Not Not, for all the people who like to be told what to do. You're placed on this cube and it gives you directions on where to go. Do it and you win. Don't do it and you die. The directions are pretty simple, such as up, down, green, blue, and various other instructions, but all you simply do is just click the direction of where it's telling you to go. Sometimes it throws in double and triple negatives to try to confuse you, but it's never too difficult. The game tries to add variety by giving you different directions to follow, but it still all boils down to just pushing the direction they tell you to push. The game is a bit shallow and commanding for my taste. Jumping Joe. I will always adore that smugness. This game is one of the only games in this whole competition that actually sucked me in for hours to play. The game is simple, but it's not shallow. You simply press the left and right triggers to hop up platforms throughout the level. As you travel, you attempt to dodge a variety of bad guys and obstacles while collecting upgrades that actually help you and enhance the game, such as rockets, bombs, or hats. The higher you go, the more game modes you unlock, and the more diamonds you collect, the more characters you unlock. Unlike in most games in this competition, the unlockable characters actually change the gameplay and make you want to unlock more to see how the game is going to be different. There is also a multiplayer mode, and while all the character differences are gone for this, when that's a pretty blatant flaw, it's still a good time with friends to play. Jumping Joe can honestly be summed up into one word: fun. Ding Dong XL, the only game on this list that I had to literally load up to just remember what it actually was. And then was disappointed when I remembered. This game is another push a single button and dodge obstacles over and over until you die. You can get some power-ups here and there, but nothing that really changes the game itself. There is no incentive to get a high score except you can unlock some new skins, such as this dog here. Worthless. This game is pretty shallow and probably wouldn't have advanced to this round except it was matched up against SD Man originally, and that was one of the worst games in the entire competition. So that's the only reason that Ding Dong XL has even made it this far. So this week we are sort of split. We have 2 games that are so shallow they barely deserve to even be in this second bracket, and then we have 2 games that both look like love and dedication went into making them. Both Grab Lab and Jumping Joe have a distinctive charm to them, and they are a lot of fun to play. Grab Lab doesn't vary the gameplay as much or really push you to get better, but it does have a natural end to the game, which Jumping Joe is missing. Jumping Joe has plenty of upgrades and actually has a variety of unlockable characters that can change the gameplay quite a bit. They both pull you in for hours. However, only one game can move on to the finals, and for this bracket, that game is going to be Jumping Joe. It is close between these two, however Jumping Joe just has more depth with all its unlockables and allows the gameplay to feel more fresh because of this. It also has a decent multiplayer, and that's something that was missing from Grab Lab. So that wraps up round 2 of the semifinals. Next week is the finals for Champion of the Cheap, where Membrane will face off against Jumping Joe, and one game will be deemed the Champion of the Cheap. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, where we do uploads every Tuesday and Thursday, with occasional bonus videos thrown in as well. Thanks again for watching, and always find a great game to play and have a great day.